Welcome back to another session with your technology liaison at North Clayton High School. Today we're providing a resource video on accessibility with Google Workshop for Education. Just a reminder, if you need to reach me and ask questions or need specific resources that I may have more knowledge of or access to, my name again is Sonia Hartley. You can reach me at sonia.hartley at clayton.k12.ga.us. You can also physically stop by my room 141, and it's located on the ninth grade hall closer to the teacher lounge. All right, so today is a few things that we're covering, and in brief, not to be repetitive, we're talking about creating certain digital habits. We're utilizing Chrome Translate. I will go over closed captioning and adding alt text to live presentations. I will go over and give you a reminder on how to use voice to text as well as make information stand out with comments. All of these particular objectives will be accompanied by a resource set of accessibility flashcards as well as the sign-in sheet, which you should be able to access in the coach's corner as well. All right, just the scenario we're looking at specifically worldwide, globally, we have 1 billion people that are falling into the category of needing some type of assistance, we may be on the physical or the academic level when we're talking about accommodations in learning. Um, One of those, 1 in 4 are actually people that are falling in that category in the United States. So picture 1 out of 4 of your students needing some type of accommodations to be able to successfully have a great learning experience and learning outcome. I want you to consider some of the accommodations that we are already using without even looking at Google tools, visual cues, and we've been doing that for years. Extended time, allowing students to have more time to complete their work, oral and written directions, and of course, making sure that you repeatedly remind the students of what their expectations are or what their instructions are on the assignment. We've utilized visual and graphic organizers, different types of media. You love using videos and other types of even music media. And we also have ways to check for understanding consistently and constantly to make sure that we are reaching the students that we want to teach. All right, so the 3 different tools that are utilized today that we will focus on is, of course, the Google Chrome, we have Google Docs, and Google Slides. So those are the three that I will briefly cover, and just make sure that you have knowledge of the tools that are available to you. All right, so there would have been activity that we could have done together, but I will just go ahead and run through the basics with you. So I have already have a Google Doc available. So the accessibility tools in Google Doc is what I'm going over to really briefly. So, how do I access? I have a Google Doc already open that the students were working on, and our focus should lie in on zoom in on the tools tab in the Google Doc. So my document is a different color, but for you it would probably be a regular color unless you really like changing colors. I just do it for visual, and if I go into different weeks or different units, I just change the color so the students can kind of relate back to the color of the document. So we're clicking on tools, and today we're starting off with voice typing. That's probably the best tool, not only for the student, but also for you as the teacher, because you are able to do things hands free. That works for me. I don't always like to utilize voice typing for myself because I have sometimes a little dialect or accent. So you definitely need to utilize the proper English. Proper English. And That doesn't always work like that. So always remind students that get frustrated with using it that you need to enunciate. So if you click on voice typing, here we go. So you can click, I'm not going to click right now, but once you click on click to speak, you or the student, especially if you're giving someone work to do at home, because sometimes it will not work with multiple people talking at the same time. But if you're assigning homework or the student has an enclosed space where they have privacy, ask them if they don't feel comfortable with writing an essay to go ahead, or even just to start off by speaking using the voice to text feature, the voice typing feature, so they can go back and maybe edit the writing they already have. Okay, so that's one portion. Then we have, let me go back over here. I have to X out of here and click on tools once again and go to translate the document. This one is fairly simple. Um, you choose a language, the language that you, let's do Armenian. Well, the beauty of this is because the first fear I would have is once I hit the translate, how would I be able to go back to the document that I had in English, since that's my language that I speak most of the time. Um, the beauty of it, once you hit translate, the document, if you can see, as you can see, will open a whole new tab and give you a translated copy in the language that you chose. And then once you click out of it, it just goes back to the original copy that is still in the English language. And ironically, you can do that with as many different languages as necessary, as you see necessary. All right, let me make sure that you also know Google Translate. Um, if you go to Google Translate in your Google browser, let me go Google Translate. And I'm sure we've done this before, but today I just want to make sure that you're fully aware of the options that there are. You can either go ahead and translate by voice, which is very convenient if you're doing this with a cell phone, or you have a student that is new to your class and you're having language barrier, or the language barrier, if you are the language barrier because the student's not understanding what you're communicating or what writing you're expecting for them to produce. You can go ahead and do it by voice, or you can copy and paste the text as well as, and I'm per se not really prepared for this, but let's try the Clayton County School District website and grab that URL, the URL up here, copy and paste it, and let's go back to Google Translate. Now, I will say, not all websites work for this. Let me paste it, and it will. Oh, what language are we changing it to? Samoan. Let's try Samoan. Copy it, and let's see if I paste it, if that will translate. Okay, like I said, the no, that did not work. Okay, so I need to find a website that's translatable, and that's, like I said, it wouldn't work for every, but basically being able to and that may, let me see if I need to take this portion off. Let's let's see. All right. Like I said, this can be challenging, and I've done other versions of this before where I am right clicking. Let me try this on the actual page. And here is translate the English, but we're not trying to translate the English. We want to translate it to another language. Here we go. That's the language that's detected. Choose another language. I'm going to choose Danish. And we'll just hope that Danish is on the list of languages. And I can tell that it automatically is already changed on the top right here and within the settings. So remind yourself that if you are trying to translate So all these already translate. If it's a visual, if it's something that's a JPEG or any kind of PNG that's embedded, the translation is not going to work. So things that like the tweets were translated, and of course the hyperlinked options are translated. Some of the things here. So as I mentioned before, it's not a foolproof. Definitely not foolproof. I don't even know if that's an appropriate way to address it, but just know that you have different options to go ahead and choose on how you would like to translate. So within the slide deck, it gives you the directions, but I also will add the accessibility flashcards for you to be able to have the resource so you can go step by step. And here we go. The next and almost last thing, okay, so within the presentation, there's something that is available, which is, of course, closed captioned if you're doing a live presentation. So if you're doing a live presentation, and let's use this one as an example, you are expected to click on the three dots on the bottom where the count of the pages or the slides is. Once you click on that, and you go up and you can choose what type of position you would like your closed caption, because as you're talking you want the translation to go ahead and start off with your live presentation. You can either have your presentation on the top or bottom, and then you can choose the size of your closed caption within your presentation, because of course if most of your writing is on the top of the page or the side of the page, you have to make sure that your closed captioning it's not actually covering your content. So that is how to embed closed captions. So just always remember the three dots on the bottom of the presentation. Click that caption preferences, and then you can choose where you want your closed caption to appear. Last, and I want to say, but not least, is well, no, I have two more things. I want you to utilize the comments in a presentation. let's let me choose this one. So if I let me click out of this Pear Deck, which I use quite a bit. If you right click on the document, then I mean on the presentation, you have the option to, I don't know if it's gonna give me that option. Let me try it again. Okay, here we go with the comments, and it was right there. The comments, make sure that you are able to provide your students with they're familiar with tagging each other. So if a student often has time with difficulties with specific problems, instead of continuously having to repeat what the remedy is or how to give them further instructions, you can just go ahead and tag them in the comment. So that's another resource for you to utilize. Excuse me. All right, and last but not least, and I want to make sure I'm doing this correctly. Yeah, here we go. So, oh, I forgot. Goodness, it the alt text works on a actual visual. So here we go. Because I kept clicking on the side of it. So of course the alt text will not work because I'm not clicking on actual an embedded visual. So here we are. Alt text is basically, if you right click it and you click on alt text, it gives students that possibly have trouble seeing an opportunity to hover over what the content is, and it can, if they have a reader, it will actually read to them what the visual is. So this one is a meme, and I'm just using this as an example, and it discusses procrastination. We talked about procrastination in class, just the human behavior of procrastination. So you can give a description of that, And the student that does have a reader, a screen reader, will be able to hover over it to be able to hear what it is that you are visually presenting to someone else, so you can get a description. And I just so per se say procrastination and type it procrastination. I just want to make sure. I'm gonna take it off. Well, I'll add it on there. But I don't have a reader, so I can't really just display that feature to you. Any students that you do have to have a reader will be able to access it. I'm gonna take it back off just because I don't have a reader and none of my students have screen readers. And here you go. So that was that. Let me go back to my presentation for today and summarize what we've gone over. We've talked about presentation, accessibility. I gave you ways to comment to the students to make sure that they are zooming in on what they may be having difficulties with, and you can communicate with the students in the same manner. So if the student has a question for a specific portion of your slide deck or something that you've assigned to them, you will automatically get notification that that student has a question for you. And then I gave you the instructions. And for a recap, I want to just remind you that you have various resources anywhere from Chrome Translate to interactive closed captioning while you're giving a live presentation. And please, 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 even you as a teacher, to keep from having those carpal tunnel problems, which that's probably the main reason why I utilize voice to text, just from constant repetitive typing. And utilize your comment section for your students. Now, I have nothing else for you for today. Once again, the resources, including the accessibility flashcards, will be available in the Coach's Corner. And this is a YouTube video, so you can watch it as often as you uh, feel the need to. If you have any questions, you know how to reach me. You have a wonderful day.